This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 782 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by the IPHDA. You can find them online at internethorseshow.com. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Rod Miller. Rod teaches principles of balanced riding found in dressage and combines it with the communication philosophies of natural horse training, creating a positive, progressive approach for his students. Today, Rod tells us about a handy exercise to improve your leg aids, and by extension, your horse's performance. And we'll get right to our tip after this message from the IPHDA. The International Performance Horse Development Association, or IPHDA, is an online horse association providing its members educational opportunities and virtual horse shows in a wide range of classes, from ranch work to reining to barrel racing. IPHDA even offers in-hand classes, so there's something for everyone. It's easy and fun to enter classes, too. No long drives to the horse show grounds, no hotels, no scrambling to schedule sitters while you're away. Members simply sign up for classes and submit their video according to the class's specifications. Like a live horse show, you'll compete with others, get judges' feedback, and win prizes. You can learn more at internethorseshow.com. That's internethorseshow.com. I would like to welcome at this time Rod Miller from the IPHDA, a great new friend here at the Horse Radio Network, and he's going to have some tips for us going forward. Rod, what is going to be your opening tip for today?
What I do, Jennifer, is I teach people how to feel their horse first, and that's kind of where this tip is going to be today, is basically how to relax and learn to feel your horse's rhythm.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
And the reason that I do this is I look at riding like a dance, okay? And with any dance, there's a beat or a rhythm. Well, and the rhythm that we have to ride to is the horse's rhythm, okay? And the rider is basically got to learn the horse's rhythm if they're going to learn the steps, okay? Now it goes, as you learn the horse's rhythm, the rider can become the conductor, because then you can look at the horse as the band playing the music, but they have to learn how to conduct it. But first they have to learn how to feel it. Does that make sense?
I think I get this. So where we're going with this is we need to learn to feel the horse's rhythm, but you have to learn to tap your toe before you can take over the Boston Pop Symphony.
Perfect. That's
okay,
exactly
I'm getting it.
where I'm going with
Good.
it.
Okay, enlighten me further, Rod.
Yeah. All right. So basically, what I tell people to do is just let or get your horse to walk forward relaxed. Now, it can't be sluggish. It has to have some forward energy, forward motion, okay? And they can't be rushing. Just a nice, relaxed forward walk. And then relax your legs from the thigh all the way down and feel how your horse wants your legs to move when your legs are relaxed and just hanging there. Mm-hmm. Your horse will want your legs to move with them in a certain way, okay? Mm-hmm. And then basically we do the same thing at a trot. The trot's a little tougher because it's usually a little rougher. But if you can get your horse to trot where you can kind of sit there and let your legs relax, you're going to feel your legs are going to want to move in a specific direction and sequence. And it's going to change between the walk and the trot. And so we'll just start at the walk. What you'll feel when you get your legs relaxed, the horse is walking, you're going to feel that your legs want to swing one then the other, okay? and most time it's side to side. One leg swings in, the other leg swings out. One leg swings in, the other leg swings out. And then we go to the trot, and what we're going to find...
Then what happens, Rod, is my legs swing every which direction, and I hold on to his mane for dear life. That's what happens, Rod, so help me here.
Well, if you can relax, okay, and if your horse is making you feel like that, he's not relaxed. So this is why riding instructors always recommend that beginning riders start with schooled horses, okay? That's not always the case. So what I tell people at my clinics when that happens is slow his feet down, okay? And sometimes they're too sluggish. We got to use our kick a little bit, or however you normally do, get them to walk at a regular, relaxed cadence, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to do this and feel your horse's rhythm and they're trying to, go too fast or too slow, you're not going to be able to feel it. So the key here is getting your horse relaxed to be able to feel it to start with.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps. Oh, yes.
Okay.
So I want my horse to walk like he's heading for the grand opening of Star Wars Episode 7, but we've already got tickets, so there's no rush.
There you
Okay.
go.
I'm ready.
Perfect analogy.
So I'm ready for that.
I may use that one. All right. So now when your legs are hanging down, what you should feel, okay, is that your legs want to swing one at a time, okay? And this is because our horses that walk is a 4-beat gait, and there's one hind leg and one front leg always moving one side or the other. The key is to relax from the hip down, okay? Because a lot of riders have a tendency to squeeze with their thighs, and then they can't let their legs swing, okay? So if you can do that with your feet in the stirrups, that's fine. If you don't, because I guess, Western riders, we tend to ride with a little longer stirrup than English riders, so that could be why it's easier with no stirrups. But anyway, so the key is just to feel your horse with your legs, okay?
Got it.
And so then when we move to the trot, what we're going to find is our legs want to move in a different sequence. They want to move together. They want to go out together and back in together. Or they could want to go forward and back together. But that is affected by the horse's balance, and that's something that we'll have to discuss another day because that gets into a lot of different issues.
Okay.
And it doesn't
Stay tuned for that
matter.
tip, folks. Stay tuned. That one's coming up some other time.
It really doesn't matter which direction your legs want to swing as a trot. It's just going to make it harder or easier to sit the trot, and the direction your horse wants your legs to move, either in or out or back and forth, will depend on your horse's balance, okay?
Okay.
So, and the reason this is all important is we want to use our legs to cue our horses, okay? And a horse will respond if we use rhythmic pressure on them. They will soften to rhythmic pressure. And the first thing we have to do with any horse is soften them to our cues. And if we can use their rhythm, that is the key.
So we're developing a symbiotic relationship here betwixt our aids and their natural rhythm.
That's what we're after. Now
I'm getting it, Rod.
Okay, so that is pretty much the tip, is relax and feel your horse. Because what I see too often is I watch people ride and they're clamped on, which is basically applying the gas and holding the brake at the same time, and their horse gets totally confused.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Okay, and if they can learn to just let their legs go with their horse, then the next key is when you start to actually want to train your horse, you can use your legs in rhythm with them to actually develop something.
So is this the type of exercise a rider should do, and then once you get it, you don't have to do it anymore? Or is this something that we should revisit on a regular basis?
Well, Interesting question, because I have a girl in my clinic, or in my online course right now, that she just sent me an email, and she was telling me how she was finally able to feel her horse bend a little bit because of just allowing her legs to relax. And she told me, she says, I don't get it all the time, but she says, whenever I don't feel it, she says, I go right back to that dance drill. And that's what I call that drill, is just a dance drill, where I actually encourage people to exaggerate that motion that their horse wants their legs to move in.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is allows the rider to just settle down into the horse a little bit, and it emphasizes that rhythm that they're trying to feel.
So it sounds like this is one of those exercises on those days when you get on your horse, and we've all had these. Some days you get on the horse and you feel like you completely forgot how to ride. Nothing seems to be working. It's a good go-to exercise to get your body to relax and find the horse's natural rhythm and balance so you can get back in sync again and then move forward.
This is a funny story. I had a girl riding with me, and she was doing very well, but I asked her, I said, go do the dance drill again. And she did, and as soon as she did, she stopped. She couldn't squeeze with her thighs anymore, and I could just see my horse take a deep breath.
And that's this is a 2 tips in 1 moment, folks, if you listen carefully. If you have one of those horses that has that underlying, there's just something tense there and you can't quite put your thumb on it, another reason to go back to this dance exercise is probably subconsciously, you don't realize you're doing it. You've got your thighs really tight on your horse, which in turn tightens up lots of other areas of your body, and that really is going to get in the way of a good performance.
We only have so many tools to develop our horses. I use the word develop instead of train, because there's so many ways to train horses, and if we want, for what I do, I want them soft and responsive. I've got to develop that. And we've only got so many tools to do that. Basically, we've got our hands and our legs. Our seat and our voice, they're lighter cues. And if I stiffen my legs, I've effectively taken half my tools out of my toolbox and throwing them away. Mm-hmm. And I don't know anybody that would do that if they're going to do a job. If they're going to fix a car, they're not going to grab half the wrenches and throw them away. So you have to relax your legs if we're going to use them. If we stiffen them and brace them, they're effectively no good to communicate with our horse.
And you've heard it right here, folks. Well, that's been great, Rod. Thank you very much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with us today on Horse Tip Daily. And as I said at the opening of this tip, listeners, you will be hearing from Rod regularly going on in the future here with some great tips on becoming a better rider and a better horseman. Give our listeners your website address, Rod.
www.developyourride.com.
Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you again soon, Rod.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been a pleasure.
And that's a wrap. To listen to more tips on equitation and becoming a better rider, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the Topics drop-down menu on the left. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you by the IPHDA, Online Horse Show Association, and so much more. You can find them online at internethorseshow.com. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.